we solve the past question from 2024-2025, cost accounting. Now this is a problem from Imo State University, Department of Accountancy or Accounting, 200 level. From the past question there, we'll be solving question 3 from there first. And the question said, in the process line of ACA Limited, 3 products are produced. 3 products are what? Are produced for the month of July. The following data are available. The following data are available. Now we have 3 products there: product A, product B, and product what? C. Now we have selling price per kg. We have 290 naira for product A, 270 naira for product B, and 280 for product C. Now we have output in kg, 5,500 for product A, 4,000 for product what? B, and 4,500 for product C. Post separation cost: 440,000 for A, 450 for B, 750 for C. Now additional information, we have pre-separation costs amounted to 1,750,000. The joint products are manufactured in one common process, after which they are separated and may undergo further what? Processing individually. The pre-separation costs are apportioned to joint what? On the basis of what? Weight. Now what I'm trying to say is that the apportionment of your joint cost, that your pre-separation point cost, is also called your joint what? Cost. And the apportionment, the method we are asked to use to apportion it, is based on what? Weight. Based on weight. Are you there? Based on what? Weight. And like what we said, that any apportionment that is based on what? Weight. It means you are using physical what? Unit method to apportion it. If they say the apportionment is on what? It's based on weight. It means that you have to use what? Physical what? Unit method. Are you there? You have to use physical unit what? Method to what? To apportion it. Because any apportionment that is based on what? Weight is used based on physical unit method to do that. Now, see on the question, they said the sales value for each what? Each product at separation what? Point is as what? Follows: 160, 155, and what? This sales value for each product at separation what? It means the sales value based on further what? Processing. Based on what class? Further processing. Now, advise the company on the product or products to sell are split up what? Points, and they want to process what? Before what? Show the gain from the what? Advice, and they gave 20 what? 20 marks for the particular what? Problem. Now, to start up this problem, first of all, first thing to do, apportion your joint what? Cost. Apportion your joint what? To product A, B, and what? Based on the method the question wants you to use. Now the question wants us to use physical unit what? Method for this apportionment, because we are told that the apportionment is based on what? Weight. Are you the class? So the first thing to do is to apportion your joint what? Cost. Now we have products. Now how many do we have? How many products? We have product what? A, product B, and what? Product C. Now since it was mentioned that the apportionment is based on what? Weight. So we have our output. Our class output. So the output for A, we have what? 5,500 for B, 4,000 for C. So your total output is what? Total output 14 what? 14,000. Now since our apportionment is based on what? Output or weight. Are you the class? So our apportionment is based on this and what? The fraction of your what? Of your output to the what class? To the total. Now we have our workings. Now for product what? It becomes what? 5,500 over your what? Your total output times what is the total amount of your joint cost? We have to apportion 1,750,000, irrespective that they call this particular amount in the question pre what? Separation cost. Now pre-separation cost represents your joint what? Cost. Are you the class? Now after working, so your apportion cost will not be how much? Apportion joint what? Cost for A will not be what? After working 687,000 what? What they did is what? 5,500 divided by what? Times what? This. Now for product what? B, it becomes what? 4,000 over times what? 1,750,000 what? Now if you work it out, we have what? 500 what? Thousand. For product what? We have what? 4,500 over what? Times what? 1,750,000 what? Now that will give us what? 562,500. Now if you add up this figure, it should be equal to your what? Your total joint what? Which is 1,000,000 what? 750 what? Thousand. Now this is the first thing to do. Now at this point we have ascertained our what? The amount of our what? Of our joint cost for each what? Product. Are you the class? For each what class? Product. We have ascertained the amount of our joint cost for each what? Product. Now step 2. Remember, the first question wants us to get our profit or what? Before further what? Processing. Before what class? And your profit or what? Or loss for each of these what? Product will be the difference between your sales what? Sales value and your total what? Cost. The difference between your sales value and what class? Your total what? Cost. The difference between your sales what? Value and your total cost will be the value of your profit or loss. Now the next step now is to prepare what we call schedule. Schedule of sales what? Schedule of what class? Sales value. Schedule of sales what? Value for the 3 what? Products. Now we have product what? We have products. We have A, B, and what? And C. Are you there? Now class, we know that sales value is multiplying your selling price per unit by the what class? Quantity. We also have sales what? Value. Now what is the selling price? Selling price per kg for product A 290, product B 270, product C 2 what? 280 naira. Are you there? Are you the class? That's the price per what? For your selling what? Price. Now we have our what? Output output for A 55, output for B, output for C. So class, we want to get our what? Our sales what? Value. Our class. So your sales value will not be what class? This times this, now that will give us what? 1,595,000 what? For B? 1,080,000 for C? 1 million what? 260 what? Now these are my sales what? Value for the 3 what? Products. Now after you are done with your schedule of your sales what? Value, the next schedule you want to show is for your total what? Cost. What class? Because you know that profit or loss is the difference between your what? Sales what? And your total what? Cost. So the next schedule now be schedule of what? Total what? Cost. Are you the class? Now we have products. We have product A, B, and what? Product A, B, and what class? Now your total cost will be your joint cost. Your what class? Your joint cost plus your separation what? Cost. Your total cost will be the addition of what class? Your joint cost plus what class? Good. Your joint cost apportioned to the different what? Products. Now joint what? Apportioned joint what? Apportioned joint what? Cost. For A is how much? What we showed here, 600 what? For B? For C? Then you add up your what? Your separation what class? It was given to us, Abi. Now your separation cost is what? 440, 450, 750 what? So total will not give us 750, Abi. Now total is what? 1 million 125 for B, 950,000 for C, 1,300,000 what? 500. Now class, these are my total what? Costs. You do this plus this, this plus this. So the addition of your what? Your apportion gen cost plus your post separation what? It goes to our class. Our total what? Cost. Now at this point, we know our sales value. We know our what? Total cost. The next thing now to do is a schedule of the what? Profit or what? Or loss. At that point, answer question what? Which one? Correct. 1 million what? 1,127,000. Like this, Abi. Okay, that one is corrected now. 1,127,000 what? Now these are your total what costs. Now the next thing you have to do is your what schedule of your profit or what loss. At that point, you now know which of the product to process what further and which one we should not process what further. Now the next thing we want to start now, we are done with what the schedule of what sales value. We are done with schedule of what total cost. Now we want to calculate or prepare the profit or what loss based on each of these what products. Now we know that profit or loss is the difference between our sales what and our what total what cost. So prepare a schedule for what profit or a schedule for profit slash what. Now we have how many products? How many product class? We have product what? Product A, product B, and product what? Then we have our what? Total. Product A, B, C, and what class? Now, look at I said, we want to get our profit or loss, abi? And our profit or loss is the difference between your sales what and your total what. Now, let's flow. Now, what's my sales value for product A? 1,590,000 for B. 1,080,000 for C. 1 million. Now total revenue for the three products. 3 what? 3,935,000 what? Now we now do these are sales what? Sales value. Now let's your what? Total cost as calculated. Total cost for A, product A. 500 for B, 950 for C, 500 total 3,390,000 what? Okay, class. Let's now less and see. Here will be what? 467,000. One what? 130 what? Then what about here? A loss of what? 52,000. Now, what's the overall? This plus this my cannot less. 545 what? Now, looking at this now, based on our profit or what? This profits slash what? Now it shows that product A is making profit of how much? Product B profit of how much? And product C loss of what? And the overall profit is how much? Are you the class? Now looking at this now, the overall profit including the losses overall is 545,000 naira. Are you the class? Are you with me? Now the question is, this is the profit or what or loss as split of what? Point or below. This is the profit or loss at what class? Now the question will now be, is it advisable to process all these products further? Are you with the class? Now it is advisable that we can process what? Product A further B. We can process what? Further B. But it's not advisable to what? Because of the what? Loss. Are you the class? Now we want to prove what we just said. Now if processing product what? C will result to another loss or what? Or a gain. Now this will now lead us to preparing a schedule to process what class? Further. Preparing what class? To process what class? And before we do that, before we start calculating our schedule to process what? Further, we need to get what we call incremental what? Revenue. What I call it? And incremental revenue is the difference between revenue and split of what? Points, and revenue beyond what class? Split of what? Points. Class, with me. I said your incremental what? Is the difference between your revenue and split of what? Points. Revenue and split of points. Are you there? And the difference between revenue beyond what? Beyond split of what? Points. Now go to the question class. Go to the question. We are giving selling price per kg, Abi. Selling price per what? Which is 290, 270, and 2 what? And also we are giving what? The sales value or selling price of each of the products at separation what? Point. What does separation point stand for? Separation point is what? Point beyond what? Is it beyond split of point or before split of point? Beyond split of what? So what I'm trying to say that before we can process what? Further, we need to get what we call schedule of incremental what? Incremental revenue. Incremental what class? Incremental revenue. And this schedule of incremental what? Will be the difference between your selling price and split of point and selling price beyond what class? So we have Product A, B, and what? Product A, B, and what class? Now we have selling what? Selling price beyond what? Split off point, beyond split off point. Now, which is how much? 290 for what? For A, then 270 for what? And 280 for what? Now, let's selling what? At what? A split off. Split off what? Which is divided into additional what? Which is how much? 160, 155, and 2 what? Now, if you not less, you get what? 115, 70, Abby. So therefore, your total what? Your total.
Okay, now at this point, please look on. Remember, we have computed our incremental revenue per what? Per kg, which is what we did here. And the incremental revenue per kg this is called incremental revenue per what? For each of the what? Products. Now to get the total value of your additional what? Revenue, what you're going to do is to multiply the incremental revenue per what? Per kg by the quantity or output of that particular what? Product. I said to get your total incremental what? Is to multiply the incremental revenue per what? By the quantity of that what? Of that product. Now for product A, what is incremental revenue? Times the output or quantity produced for product A. 5,000, which will give us how much? 750 what? Now for product what is incremental cost per kg? 115, Abi, times the output 4,000. That will give us what? 160 what? 460,000. For product C, what is the incremental revenue per kg? Times the output for product C. That will give us what? 315 what? Now these are my incremental what? Revenue. In order to process what? Further. Are you there? These are my incremental revenue. In order to what class? Process further. Now after you must have ascertained your additional what? Revenue, the value, which you are seeing here. Now we have to now prepare a schedule to sell or process what? Now this schedule will now tell us the product to process further and the product not to process what? Further. Now to get this, it will now be the difference between your additional revenue and additional what? Cost. Your additional cost is called your separation what? Cost. The difference between your additional what? As calculated and your additional what? Cost. Your additional cost or your incremental cost is your separation what? Cost. Your incremental revenue is your additional what? Revenue. Now, we go. Incremental. Now, incremental revenue for A is what? 700 and what plus? For B? 400 and what? And for C? 350 what? 300 and what plus? 15,000 Abi? Okay, for what? 60. Now, less your incremental cost. Your incremental cost is just that cost and separation what? Are you getting the class? Now, what's your incremental cost? Your separation cost? For A is what? 440,000 Abi. For B? The incremental cost don't go. For what? 450,000 Abi. For C? 750 what? Now, this point. Now, this minus this. 275 what? 10 what? The loss of what? 435 what? Class, at this point, if you check the schedule now, it was showing that product A will make additional what? Profit of how much? If you process it what? Product B will make additional profit of how much? If you process what? Why product C will make additional loss of how much? If you process what? So therefore, you are now advising the management not to process product what? Further, but to process what class? You are advising the management to sell product C as split of what? Points. Are you getting me? Because if you process it what? You have additional what? Loss. Why you are not advising the management to process what? Product A and what? Further B? Because by processing A and B what? You are going to get a total profit of how much class? 285 what? When you process them what? Further. Did you get that? Did you get that?